I raised quite a storm on Wednesday when I asked the British Prime Minister at Prime Minister's Question Time just exactly what was the difference between the Al-Qaeda we're killing in Mali and the Al-Qaeda we're supporting in the invasion of Syria. Answer came there none. John's in London. He wants to talk about Israel and Syria. Let's hear what he has to say. John, welcome.
Good evening, George.
Evening, sir. Go on.
I have a few points I'd like to make.
Go on.
We actually seem to forget the fundamental point of why this all started. Initially, it all started off in Tunisia when the boy who put himself on fire.
Yeah.
It then went on to Egypt. Yeah. And the similarities we've got to see is that when the people stood up, the governments automatically put their foot down and they left. Ben Ali left, Mubarak stepped down, and then it went on to Libya. Libya, we have Gaddafi, who out of the interest of the West, I believe, they went into Libya because Libya has a lot of wealth, and it was one of the only countries that were the biggest donors to the African Union Central Bank. There's a lot of hidden agendas out there today, and we seem to forget that it's end of the day, it's the people. You know, we're always concerned about what this government is saying and what this government is saying. And today we have Syria, we have Yemen, we have Bahrain. Syria, George, you really need to make yourself clear. What I didn't understand, because I've been following the show for a long time now, and in Syria we need to realize that it's the people who are suffering today, and we need to realize that the people are suffering because of the current government, who is Bashar's government. Yeah, Bashar's government have committed many massacres, and we have seen it and thank God of the social media today. We get to see from YouTube and independent reporters who send in clips, and we can see that. Especially today, we saw a young girl whose body was sliced from the body to the toe, and this is done by these war criminals, by the people of Bashar. Now, who are we supporting? Are we supporting the government of Syria? Or are we supporting the FSA? You know, today what Israel done.
All right, John. All right, John. I gave you quite a good hearing there, so you now have to listen to me. The first question I'm posing to you, and you didn't address it, is where do you stand, and where do people like you stand, on Israel's attack on Syria? In the last 24 hours, the Israeli Air Force has been bombing and rocketing Syria. Where do you, and I'm presuming you're a Muslim, where do you stand on that?
I doubt, George, I will never stand with Israel or any country.
Okay, John.
What we need to,
okay, John, I'm not finished. John, you would never stand with Israel, but my second question to you is this. Why is Israel joining in this war on the same side as you? Why?
This is it, George. These are hidden agendas. We need to realize. You know what? This is actually, like you were saying earlier, Israel are laughing. So as other countries, they're laughing with the situation of Syria today.
Okay, so you accept that Israel has joined the war on the same side as you, which must make you uncomfortable because you would never support Israel, as you've just told us. So we now, John, I'm still speaking, John. We now have a coalition of which you are a part, which involves the United States, Britain, France, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, and Turkey, as was pointed out. Now, I wouldn't like to be in that company, John. I'm not sure how comfortable you feel in it. I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. I would work on the assumption that any war supported by that gang cannot possibly be a war worthy of my support. And you have to work out, and with your conscience and before God, and on the judgment day, whether you're making the right judgment here. Now, you have the nerve to ask me to be clear. After what you've just said, you're the least clear man in the world. I, on the other hand, have been clear from day one. I have written, broadcast, spoken. If you've got Google, if you've got YouTube, then you've got no right to ask me to be clear about Syria. I have made my views clear on this Syrian issue from day one. And here is where I stand. The Syrian people have the same right to rise up and overthrow their government as any people on the earth do. But they don't have the right to ask me to send my air force to bomb their country and kill their people in support of their revolution. Number two, if their revolution so terrifies every religious and ethnic minority in the country, it's probably not a revolution worthy of support. Number three, if it's a revolution that can attract the support of America, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Britain, and France, it's probably not a revolution that's in the interests of the Syrian people. I have nothing to do with the Syrian regime. The Syrian regime has never put a single potato on a single plate that I have ever had. As a matter of fact, they owe me money for 2 trips I made to Damascus that they didn't even reimburse me for. I'm with the Syrian people, but I'm against foreign invaders of Syria. I'm against Israel invading Syria. I'm against America and France and Britain invading Syria. I'm against these so-called jihadists who think by chanting Allah Akbar while acting as an ally of Israel and America, they're somehow involved in a holy war. It's not me that needs to be clear, John. It's you that needs to be clear. It's you that needs to get your thoughts more clear, because I infer from your discourse that you are a sincere and intelligent person. So go to your bed tonight after your prayer and ask yourself if you're not making a terrible, terrible mistake.